Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of ASKgufish. We're going to start off this episode with something a little different, a little BuzzFeedy, if you will. As much as it pains me to say that, I'm going to take a look at 5 ugly guitars available right now on Reverb. I usually try to feature awesome looking guitars on the channel, but sometimes it's fun to explore in the complete opposite direction. I'm going to try to avoid the super obvious ones like the Gibson Reverse Flying V, gross, or the ones that were built as jokes with the intention of being ugly, like the Wangcaster. And again, these are just my opinions as someone who thinks that in terms of aesthetics, guitar design basically already achieved perfection in the 1950s with the Les Paul Custom. But enough of my yabbering, here are some ugly f***ing guitars available right now on Reverb. Starting out strong with the 1960 Silverstone 1487. Alright, we're gonna hit pause right here. It's definitely silver tone, not Silverstone. Silverstone is 100% a racetrack, not a guitar brand. The seller has this listed as a, quote, great guitar design from Silverstone, which I find questionable at best. There's a lot going on here, but the key highlights for me are the built-in speaker, the holographic bridge, and the body that looks like someone left Telecaster out in the sun for a little too long. The control knobs are also in the perfect location to accidentally adjust them with your forearm while playing. Very cool. Moving on. Now, Supro has a lot of guitars that look decent, but not this Lexington. If you're just looking at the body, it's like, okay, I like how the bridge is just one smooth bar across the strings. I wonder why more manufacturers haven't picked up that design. But if you look at the whole thing, the proportions, I can't tell. Why is the body so squished, or why is the headstock so massive? And this pointy neck heel, what is going on there? For number 3, Silverstone is back on the list with the 1448. I mean, apart from the body looking like Cyclops from the X-Men in cow form, what is happening with this headstock? Like, why didn't they finish creating the headstock shape? I'll give them this, it's distinctive, but it's not even like a function over form thing. That nut angle in the high E is painful, and it looks like it would be a nightmare for tuning stability. Nope. Just so much nope. Okay, you've got to be joking. No, this actually has to be a joke. Not really sure where to start with this one. Do I talk about the Wario mustache, the headstock that looks like the silhouette of a Dutch shoe, or perhaps the giant bulbous body? I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I'm sure someone out there will think they're getting a bargain for $2,700. And the last one, this might be a bit of a controversial choice, but I'm going with this Guild T-Bird. Guild makes a lot of phenomenal looking semi-hollows and solid bodies, but this T-Bird, I'm sorry, I can't get behind it. It's like someone went ham with the warp effect in Photoshop. It looks kind of like a big axe, like a weapon you'd find in Monster Hunter. Actually, when it's put that way, it's kind of cool. But as a guitar shape, it seems a bit random, like there was no plan, just curves for the sake of curves. Compared to the last one, it's not bad, but no. No, thank you. So it turns out that there are some very ugly guitars out there. That took about 5 minutes of searching on Reverb. If you're interested in grabbing any of these beauties, I can almost guarantee they haven't sold yet. Links in the description. Do you guys agree with my picks? Yes, no? Let me know in the comments. Okay, that was a little bit of fun to change it up. Let me know what you think of these top 5 segments. And now let's jump into your questions. 想看 Solar 的新款. So you may or may not know that since I speak Mandarin, I've been uploading to Chinese social media as well. And this guy is asking about the new Solars. Guys, it's official. This meme has gone fully international, even in a place where YouTube is blocked by the freaking government. You see the new Holy Diver Vivian Campbell Epiphone Les Paul? Right up your alley. Yes, I did. Let's talk about it. So Epiphone actually revealed this prototype at WinterNAMM, but for whatever reason, it didn't get a whole lot of coverage compared to the Lizzie Hale or Jared James Nichols models. To be fair though, those are some good looking signatures. But now Epiphone has officially unveiled the promo video with Vivian Campbell. The product page is up, we've got more details. What makes this one special? Now, Vivian Campbell has been a member of Def Leppard since the early 90s, and he's probably best known for his work before that with Dio. And that's where this Holy Diver Les Paul gets its name. It's an affordable version of the Gibson that he auditioned for Dio with in the 80s, and it's what he played on both the classic The Last in Line and Holy Diver albums. Looking at the original, I had assumed it was a modified standard, but it's actually not. Story goes, Campbell tried buying a gold top standard from his local Belfast shop, but they weren't able to get one. Instead, he got a deluxe in wine red, but it was only that way for a day before he sanded it down and had it painted matte black. He affectionately refers to it by its serial number, which I have to admit is pretty cute. That's how you know he has a real history with this guitar, and by extension was passionate about getting the Epiphone version right. So we get that matte black on the Holy Diver, as well as some of the other modifications that Campbell made to 729-87537 to make it as close to how it was in 1982. We've got the same DiMarzio X2N humbuckers that he used to record those Dio albums. That's actually something they changed from the prototype that I saw at Winternam. I didn't ask what it was, but there was a different pickup with pole pieces instead of rails in the bridge. Wasn't a fan of that mismatched look, so I'm glad it's been changed for consistency and authenticity. Is it still cool to use that meme, or is it super dead now? Anyways, the frets aren't your standard Epiphone, they're Dunlop Jumbos. It's got a brass nut to match the brass jack plate and brass dome control knobs. It's not often that you see domes on any Les Paul, that's generally a Fender thing. Not often that you see brass on a Gibson in general, so that's very cool. Tone Pros hardware for the bridge and tailpiece, and then 80s style premium diecast tuners. That is unusually spec'd out for even a high-end Epiphone Les Paul. Actually, quick little update thing. Now that I'm gathering all the assets for the edit and post, I'm noticing that a lot of the specs don't line up on the product page with what Campbell is saying in the promo video, specifically the Dunlop frets and the Tone Pros hardware. I've reached out to Epiphone to clarify. Not that I have a problem with the standard Epiphone stuff, and the model is still out of the ordinary, but the Tone Pro stuff is just next level and sets it apart from other Epiphones. I'll post an update in the pinned comment when I hear back. Okay, update on the update. I spoke to Algin and he confirms that it has the standard Epiphone medium jumbo frets and Epiphone hardware. Basically, Vivian was naming specs on his Gibson custom shop model, not the Epiphone signature. He also clarified that the Vivian profile is what you'd find on 70s Les Pauls, like the one on my 72 Les Paul Custom that I managed to talk about on this channel way too often. So yeah, dang it Vivian. Now all those parts are on a pretty traditional Les Paul base. We've got a mahogany body with a maple cap, mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard. They're using a new headstock shape. Okay, I want to know what you guys think of this because I think it's ugly as f***. It's similar to the ES335 shape, like it gets wider at the top, and on a semi-hollow it looks good, but not gonna lie, on a Les Paul, I think it looks pretty gross. It kind of almost makes it look like a knockoff. That being said, I'm a big fan of the regular Epiphone headstock shape, like the one on the Old Glory looks right to me, and I know a lot of people don't like that at all. What do you think of the disgusting new one compared to the beautiful old one? Let me know in the poll. Headstock aside though, what are your thoughts on the new Vivian Campbell Holy Diver? I generally like to demo all the limited edition Epiphone Les Pauls on the channel, but I still want to know what you think. Hyped? Not hyped? Poll in the top right. Have you tried the Schecter Solo 2 custom guitars? The natural finish of the flame maple top looks sick. Okay, can somebody explain to me why this guitar has suddenly exploded in the comments? I mean, is it literally just because of that Daryl Braun video? The first time I tried looking it up, Schecter's website was broken, so that was pretty unhelpful. Second time, I mean, as far as I can tell, there isn't a new 2019 version or anything. It's just randomly become super popular. To be fair though, the Solo 2 customs do look like amazing single cuts, and they're not terribly expensive either. So they come in 3 different flavors. You've got 2 more traditional finishes in gloss natural with a black back and trans black burst with the natural back, both with chrome hardware. And then you've got a more modern finished in aged satin black with gold hardware. $8.99, Korean made, mahogany body, 3-piece mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard with 22 extra jumbo frets, and a 12 to 16 inch compound radius. All the inlays are mother of pearl, Tone Pros bridge and tailpiece, what looks to be Schecter locking tuners, Ernie Ball nut. For pickups, it has Schecter USA Pasadena Plus humbuckers, which are quite high output and powered by Alnico 5 magnets. I mean, all that for under $1,000 and from a major brand. Well done, Schecter. So honestly though, I'm kind of on Schecter. Like their C shapes, their E shapes, I don't dislike them. They just don't really do anything for me. When I play them, they feel good. Spec-wise, they're definitely amazing bang for buck in that high mid-tier price range. I can definitely see why they're so popular. I just haven't played one yet that feels alive. In my, albeit limited experience with them, they're well built, they're consistent, they just don't have like the mojo of a Gibson Les Paul. To be fair though, I said the exact same thing about Ibanez, and even though I'm not a full-blown fanboy, here I am as the owner of an RGA 61AL, so anything's possible. If there's any Schecter I'd bond with, it'd probably be that Gloss Natural Solo 2 Custom. So since they're not exactly new models, and there are a ton of videos up on YouTube already on these guys, how much real interest is there in a demo? Pull in the top right. What's the tuning he's using? Generally, I use 2 main tunings for 6 strings. Most demo tracks, it's a pretty safe bet that I'm either in drop D flat, or if I want to get really heavy, drop B. Lately, I have been using regular drop D more though. I know like everybody's getting lower to get heavier, and I went back up. Been listening to a lot of older Lamb of God lately, and they write a ton of heavy stuff in drop D. I figure if I can make a riff that sounds heavy in drop D rather than drop B, it's a pretty heavy riff. Before we get into the last question, I want to give a shout out to Hunter. Did you see the new Solar single cut? And the rest of the amazing patrons for supporting what I do? Oh, that's too funny. Which one of you is responsible for this? You can support me over there for bonus perks as well. You can set a limit, even if it's only $1 a month. It really helps and keeps me going. That's really funny. It's gonna keep me laughing for a while. Okay, last question. Are we gonna ignore the 7-string reverse head Hello Kitty? Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, who would buy such a thing? You'd have to be pretty desperate for content to go down that route. And now for the high praise of the week. Do you ever worry that by not playing the guitar into the camera in real time that people might think that you can't actually even play? I've heard others saying that you're a hack with your mom's credit card and no interest in learning your craft to the level you see fit to cast judgment on instrument makers actually producing something as opposed to wasting time with self-aggrandizing home movies. I don't think you look like a poser with the guitar hanging around your knees, bashing out the same repetitive chord riffs soaked with so much gain you could play drunk blindfolded with one finger and get the same results. I think that's how real rock stars play. Nor do I think your tracks are devoid of any serious musicianship or composition ability. Don't listen to the haters, I think you're great. Aw, thanks, Dan. Wait. You might be being a bit of a dick. For your information, Dan, I happen to be able to play guitar in real time just fine. Check this out, Dan. Wait. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Ask-a-Fish. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and hit the like button, leave your thoughts and your questions down below, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Discord server, social media, and merch links are in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I'll see you for the next video.